Hello again, everyone. This is Zombie Kids Rule, and I'm finally back with another video. I'm gonna display this and do the tutorial at the same time. I apologize for how long it's taken me. I've been away. Well, I haven't been away, but I haven't been able to get to any really video making or tutorial making for a little while. My last one was the Sudoku puzzle kind of teasers, and I still need to go back and try to make some tutorials about those. Those are just really long, so I will try to get to that. But I have since then I've been making other things and doing, working on other additional things. And so I wanted to share this one because I made this recently, and I think some people might find this helpful and valuable. So this is all about what if you want to uh, have a key for a chest or a door, and you want to put that specific key someplace, right? So the simplest version of this is you have a single key for a single chest or a single door, and it's in a specific location. So you decide as the designer what key is going to work and where that key is going to be. Then the second option is, well, what if I want to make it random? What if I want to make that chest or that door have a random key? And then I'm going to make sure that that random key is placed in a specific location. Okay, cool. That's the second option. The third option is, what if I want to have a chest or multiple chests that have random keys or doors, same thing, key or door, and they have random determination of which key is going to work, but I don't necessarily want that to be in the same location every time. Maybe I want to have, five, 10 locations that the key or keys could be in. But I also want to make sure that if the player checks all those locations, then by the time they're done checking, they will find the necessary key or keys. It won't just be, oh, whoops, I checked all of the possible locations and I still didn't find the key I needed. So how do we do that? That's the third option. So I'm going to show all three of those, and hopefully it helps folks. I thought this was kind of cool. I built this because I realized in one of my other tutorials where I have kind of a system where you randomly determine a whole bunch of stuff about a chest or a door and then store that information in an array, right? I realized after I did that and I made the tutorial and everything, I was like, oh, wait, I didn't build in the possibility of there being a key for that chest or door. So I wanted to add this to that, but I didn't want to do it until I had thoroughly tested it to say, yeah, I know how to implement that, and I'm not going to screw something up. So I went ahead and built this first to test it, and then I'll go back and add that concept of having a key and what key or which type of key to chests or doors for that random determination thing. All right, so it's been a while, but I'll do my caveats. I am not an expert, so I am still learning MZ. I'm still learning RPG Maker stuff, and so this is just one way of doing something. I'm not saying it's the best way. I'm not saying it's the most efficient way. In fact, I know for a fact that there is a more efficient way to do some of the stuff that I'm doing in this. But I'm not fully versed, or I'm not good enough at that particular solution, say scripting. So I do it the simple eventing way. It's longer, but I know it works. So again, not saying this is the only way to do it, not saying that this is the best way to do it. And then I did not make this map. I will just say that honestly. A lot of you know that I've said in other tutorials, I don't spend a lot of time mapping. I focus more on the functionality right now. So this is a default map. This is a sample map. I think it's I can't remember, the market, I think. It just had a bunch of locations, ease of use for me to save some time. I honestly can't remember my other caveats at this time, so I'll just jump right into it. So let's play test this, and I'm going to show you the three different options that I talked about, and then we'll just go through them. And the nice thing is that there's a lot of copying and pasting that can go on here. So here we go. I'm going to go over here first because this is the simplest way. I'm going to click on this chest. This chest is locked. I know that. If only you had a key that you could try. So again, this is just testing keys. This is not doing things like lock picking and stuff like that. Now I know the key is in this location, so I'm going to click here. You found a key. Yay! What key did I find? I found a simple key. Yay! All right. So now I'm going to go back to this chest. This chest is locked. Would you like to try using a key? No. You decide to conserve your key and try something else. Okay, now I go back. It's locked. Do you want to use a key? Yes. The key fits and the chest opens. Done. Okay, simple. Now, that's simple functionality. Very cool. One key, specific key, one specific location. Now I want to go over to this chest. This chest is locked and requires a key. If only you had a key you could try. I'm going to go over here because I know this is where the key is. You found the dungeon key. Okay, go back over here. This chest is locked and requires a key. Would you like to try using it? If I click no, it'll give me the same thing it did before. Yes. You try all your keys. The dungeon key works and the chest opens. And then that's simple chest functionality. Now, if I were to replay test this, it's possible that this might not be the dungeon key. It could be a different key. And I just randomly named them, so whatever. It could have been a different key. We'll see that. So now I'm going to go over to these 4 chests. Okay, there are 4 chests here. And these ones are also going to be randomly determined. And I don't know where the locations are. So I'm going to click on the first one. The chest is locked and requires a key. If only you had a key to try. Some of these could be unlocked. The chest is not locked. So it opens. Cool. Now I know I need 1 key. Chest is not locked. Okay, so I'm only looking for 2 keys now, or 1 key. Chest is locked, requires a key. If only you had a key. So now I know there's 2 keys. There are 2 keys that I need to find. And they could be in any of 7 locations. So I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to go back to the first location I built. There we go. There's nothing here. Oh, there's no key there. I'm going to go to the second location. You found a copper key. Yay! If I click, there's nothing there. So, do I have a copper key? Yes, I do. I have a copper key. Well, let's figure out which one this goes to. The chest is locked, requires a key. Would you like to use a key? Yes. You try all your keys, the copper key works. Yay! Yay! Okay, I need to find another key. Well, you know what? Let's first go back over here, just to make sure that my thing is working right. It's locked. If only you had a key. That's right. I don't have any more keys. So I'm going to go back over here, check my third location. There's nothing here. I'm going to go over here, check my fourth location. You found a silver key. Yay! I have a silver key. Okay. I'm going to go over here. It better work. Yay, the silver key works. Okay. Now I'm going to check my other 3 locations. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Okay, perfect. Worked fine. Now, but I want to try it again just so you can see the difference. That was a copper key and a silver key. Okay, a copper key and a silver key. Now, instead of checking the chests, I'm going to check the locations first. So nothing here. You found a silver key. Found a silver key, so I found 2 silver keys. Oh, found 3 silver keys. Now, there may not be another key because one could be unlocked. There's nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. So one of these chests is not going to be locked, and they all are going to take a silver key. Yep, there's 3 silver keys. That's not locked. And all of these are going to take a silver key. 2 silver keys. Silver key. 1 silver key. And then the last one. Okay. All right. So now in those 2 playtests, we've seen a copper key and a silver key. there's only one more option. That's an iron key. And I just want to do this one more time so you can see that it is in fact, a different, it's like that just happened to randomly be 3 silver keys, which is weird. Nothing there. Iron key. Okay, there's my iron key. You know what? Let's do this. Let's see if the iron key, I'm just going to randomly pick one of these chests. Chest is not locked. Okay. Let's see if this is the iron key. Okay. Oh, the iron key just happened to work. Let's go back here. Okay, copper key. Let's go over here. Let's just double check. Yeah, of course I have the copper key. One of these two has to be a copper. They could both be copper. I don't know. I would kind of like to see if it says I don't have the right key. Yeah, copper. But I did in fact test it. I did test this enough oh, there's an iron key. I did test it enough to get a result of I have a key in my possession. I have a key in my possession, but it's not the right key. So I did definitely test this enough to get that result. All right, so that's how this works. Okay, so how does this work behind the scenes? So the simplest option was the chest has a specific key and it's in a specific location. So here's the chest, and what I did was I started with just the quick quick event creation, and I picked treasure, okay, and then I just modified it, okay, so I had a starting point. So this page is actually the first page of the quick event, right? The quick creation event, and this is the second page, right? I just added a page 1 is what I did. So I basically created a new event page and made sure to copy so that the default chest was page 2 and 3 instead of page 1. It is set to action button, so you have to click on it. And then it's very simple. You get a text. This chest is locked. And then it's going to do a conditional branch check. If the party has a simple key. So edit, conditional branch, page 4, if the party has a specific item, right? And I have these keys set up. I have a party key, simple key, jailer's key, merchant's key, key keep, dungeon key, copper, iron, and silver. And let me just take a step back before I continue. So in my database, under items, here are my keys. Now the first one is a party key, and we're going to see that later. This is a hidden item. So it is a hidden item A. The player never sees this. I'm using this item, party key, as a means of checking to see if the party has any keys at all. So each time the party finds a key, I also add a party key, hidden. So if they find 6 keys, they're going to have 6 party keys. If they haven't found any keys, they have no party key. So I'm using the party key to check in an event to see, does the party have any keys of any type? And if they don't have a party key, that means they don't. So this is a hidden item. It's not consumable because you're not using it from the inventory or anything else. Basically, you can never use it. It's just a check. And that's it. Now the other keys, they have a name, they have a description, they have an icon. They're just regular items, so they show up in the inventory. They're not consumable because you're not using them from your inventory, that's why the occasion is set to never. The player is not going into the inventory and clicking on the key to use. The event is asking if you want to use a key. Okay? And then all the other keys are set up the exact same way. Okay, so I just copied and pasted them, changed the name, changed the description, and it's all set. Okay, so you have to have the keys in your database. So back to this chest event. We have the text, show text. This chest is locked. Conditional branch. If the party has the simple key, because I know what key goes to this chest. If they do, then you show text, would you like to try using a key? And then show choices, right? So you've seen this. Again, my tutorials assume that you have a basic understanding of how to use the event options. So show choices, yes or no, right? Default of yes, cancel of no. And then show choices gives you the when yes and when no, or when whatever your choices are. If yes, then it shows use show text, the key fits and the chest opens. Then it subtracts the simple key, right? So change item, you pick the item and you decrease by a constant of 1. So you remove the simple key or a simple key, and you remove the hidden party key. So now the party doesn't have any key at all. And then you turn on a self switch A, which is going to advance it to the next page. When no, we just use simple show text. You decide to conserve your key and try something else. And then the else branch, that refers back to this right here. So if the party has the simple key, do this. Else, if they don't have the simple key, do this. If only you had a key that you could try. And that's the event. It's just a simple event. And then, of course, the self switch A moves it to this page, which is set to auto run. So once you do this and it says you use the key, the chest opens, it removes the keys, then it moves to this page, auto run. So it does the animation of opening the chest, gives you whatever it gives you. In this case, it's 1 gold, tells you it does it. It's also turning on self switch B, which moves it to this page, which is just a blank content. You can click on it, but it's not going to show you anything. It's just going to sit there. Okay. Now, I want to point this out because this is important. You notice that even though in this portion of the event, it's turning on self switch B, which is supposed to move it to this page, it is still running the rest of this page. We are still getting the 1 gold, and we are still getting the message that 1 gold were found. So that's important because we're going to see in a minute that if we turn this self switch on and expect it to immediately go to this page and skip this, that is not what is happening. So it's very important that we keep that in mind. So that is the simple chest event. And then the location of where the key is incredibly simple. So I just, put the event here, right? And I created this. So this was not here. So therefore, I used something from the tile set B as the image, right? I just picked something to put there. You have to click on it. It's an action button. And then this is very simple. You get a show text. You found a key. Change items, right? So you increase the simple key by a constant of 1. You increase the party key, that hidden party key. And then you turn self switch A on, which advances the page to being nothing, right? There's no content. It's not going to run. You click on it, nothing happens because we don't want this event to repeat. Okay, and that's it for the simplest version. You have a chest with a specific key. You have a location where that specific key is going to be found, and it's very simple. Now, I want to show you something that I didn't show you in the playtest before. So here we go. I go over here, and I'm going to click on this. Chest is locked. If only you had a key. Chest is locked. If only you had a key. You found a key. Chest is locked and requires a key. Would you like to try using a key? So the event knows that I have a key because I have a party key, right? I have that party key. So I'm going to say yes. You try all of your keys, but none of them work. Okay, I'm going to go over here, check one of these chests. The chest is locked and requires a key. Would you like to try using a key? Because I have a party key, that hidden party key. Yes. You try all your keys, but none of them work. Okay, so now we're going to go over here. We're going to use that key. Chest is locked. Would you like to try using a key? Yes. Key fits. Chest opens. Okay. Now, it's supposed to have taken the party key away. If I go here, it should not recognize me as having any keys. The chest is locked and requires a key. If only you had a key. Same thing over here. Chest is locked, requires a key. If only you had a key. So that's why I'm giving them a party key, but I'm also removing it. So that way the event knows, hey, the player has a key. Let's let them try it. Okay, so now stop that playtest. So that was the simplest version. Okay, here's the second version. This one is we want to randomly determine the key that is applicable to this particular chest or door, right? Again. So the first thing it does is the first page of this event is set as a parallel trigger, meaning that when the map loads, this is going to run. This page is going to run on this event while other things are happening. And what it's doing is it is just determining which key is going to be used for this specific chest. So we have a variable, control variable, die 4 roll, you name it, whatever you want to name it. I just reused one for simplicity. And it's a random 1 to 4. So here's my variable, the name, set, random 1 to 4. Then we have 4 conditional branch checks. If that variable, die 4 roll, is 1. So here's my conditional branch, first page, if the variable is equal to 1. And if it's equal to 1, we're going to set a different variable, number 9, key type. We're going to set that to the words, or I can't remember what it's called now. All of a sudden I'm drawing a blank. But basically it's the words jailer's key. Okay? And then this is just the same thing 4 different times. If another conditional branch, if the die 4 roll is equal to 2, then set this variable 9 key type to merchant's key. If you put quotation marks in the script field, that makes this, it's a string. There we go. It's a string. Saved, the variable is saved as a string value, not a number, but a string. And then if it's a 3, so if the die 4 variable roll is a 3, then it's key type. I'm sorry, keep key. And if it's a 4, it's dungeon key. So it figures out which key is going to be used for that chest. It's using 2 variables. And then turns on self switch A, which changes it to this page. Now remember, this was running in parallel. It did this immediately when the map loaded. Now page 2, self switch of A, it's waiting for the player to click on it. Now it's an action button. So it's just sitting there. Self switch A is the condition. If you click on this, it's going to show text. This chest is locked, requires a key. Then it does the conditional branch check. If the party has party key, which is that hidden item, it's going to show text, would you like to try using a key? And then gives you your show choices, yes or no. When yes, now it has to check the 4 different possibilities, right? Because there were 4 different keys. So first one, this is going to basically be copied and pasted 4 times, and you're just going to change a few different values. So if, we're going to go back up here, if the variable die 4 roll is equal to 1, and if the party has a jailer's key, right? So again, conditional branch page 4, if they have an item, jailer's key, if both of those are true, then it's going to show text. You try all your keys. The / variable 9 works, and the chest opens. Remember, / variable 9 is basically this, and it's going to type out jailer's key in the text. And then, once it tells you which key gets used, it's going to subtract, it's going to deduct a jailer's key from your inventory. It's going to deduct that hidden party key, and then it's going to turn self switch B on to advance the page. But remember, it doesn't immediately jump to that page. It's going to do more stuff in this event. So I'm going to jump to label end. that's going to skip all of this checks, all of this, and it's going to go down here to labels end, which is the end of the event, which then triggers the next page with the self switch B. Okay, but if this is not true, now again, this is where you could use a script to check both of these. If this is and if this is true and this is true, then do something else. As I said, well, actually, maybe I didn't say it, but I can do the script portion of the event, or I can do the script portion that's checking to see if both of these are true. But then where I struggle with is the else portion. If this is true and this is true, then I shouldn't say else, then do this. And that's the part of the script that I struggle with a little bit. So instead of trying to mess around with it, I just did it the simple way. Nested conditional branches. If this is true, and then right underneath that, if this is true, then do this. If one of these is not true, this is not going to happen. So then it goes down to the next one. I'm going to check these two. If the die4 roll variable is 2, and if the party has the merchant's key, then do this. Show text, tell them, take away the merchant key, take away the party key, turn on self switch B, jump to label end. It's pretty much the same as up here. You're just changing you're changing merchant's key here. Well, you're changing this to a 2, changing this to merchant's key, changing this to merchant's key, and you're done. This one is exactly the same, except you're changing this to a 3, you're changing this to the keep key, and then you're changing this to the keep key. But it's doing the exact same thing as the previous two. And then this portion, same thing. You change this to a 4, change this to the dungeon key, change this to the dungeon key, and it's done. So it's going to check all 4 of these possibilities. Well, it's going to check up to the point that you find the right one, and then it jumps to the end. So if it's not the jailer's key, right? If it's not a 1 and you don't have the jailer's key, it's going to skip over this. If it's not this, it's going to skip over this. If it's not this, it's going to skip over this. And then it has to be this, right? But let's say it's a 4, but you don't have the dungeon key. Well, then this is not going to play. And instead, it's gonna say down here, the else branch. It checked all of these, and none of them were completely true. So then it goes down to the else. If only you had a key that you could try. Now, this is why we jump as well, because at the end of this, if you check all this, right? If you check all this, and none of those are true, it's going to actually it's going to show this text. You try all your keys, but none of them work, right? Because actually, what I just got done saying was wrong before. This else applies to if the party has a party key, right? So if party has party key, there's the else at the end. So that else applies to if the party does not have a party key. Then it's going to immediately show them this text, if only you had a key that you could try. This is what's being triggered if the event checks this one, and these both are not true, and these both are not true, and these both are not true, and these both are not true. So you have a key, but it's not the right one, right? Then it's going to say, you try all your keys, but none of them work. And then you have the when no choice. If you choose no, then it's just going to show text. You decide to conserve your key and try something else. And then it drops to the end. And of course, we just talked about this else branch. And that's it. So if you use a key, then the B gets turned on, right? So again, one of these is going to say, you try all your keys, this one works, we're going to take it away, turn on self switch B. Self switch B is going to trigger page 3, which is auto run, just like it was before. It's going to play the chest animation and the sound. It's going to turn on self switch C, give us the gold, show us that we got gold. And then because we turned on self switch C, it's going to go to this page. Self switch C is the condition, and it's an action button. But if we click on that, there's nothing to show. So it's just going to sit there. Okay? So that's the chest where we are randomly determining which key is going to work. And then the location is predetermined. So here's my location. I added this to the map. It's set to an action button, so the player has to click on it. The first thing it does is it checks what was the variable result of the chest. Die 4 roll, right? I would name this to something more appropriate, but it determines, is it a 1, a 2, a 3, or 4? This is the key that's appropriate. The location immediately checks. What was the result? If it's a 1, it shows text. You found the /variable 9. Fill in the blank. And then it gives you a jailer's key, and it gives you a party key. If it wasn't a 1, then it checks, was it a 2? So again, simple copy and paste. Copy and paste this, change this to a 2, change this to the merchant's key. And then party key stays the same, this text stays the same. If it's not a 2, copy and paste. Change this to a 3, change this to the keep key. The other two things stay the same. If it's not a 3, it's got to be a 4. So again, copy and paste, change this to a 4, change this to dungeon key, turn on self switch A. So this page is figuring out which key is applicable to that chest, and it gives it to you. Tells you you found it, and it gives it to you, plus a party key. Since it turns on self switch A, it moves to this page, the conditions, self switch A, there's nothing here. So this page will always be the highest that's active, and you can click on it all you want. It's not going to do anything else. And then that's that portion. So simple portion, specific key, specific location, random key, specific location. But then what if we want to have random keys and the possibility of multiple locations? This isn't much harder. It's just longer event. So I'll just take one of these chests. It does something very similar to the chest we just talked about. So each chest is going to have its own set of variables and a switch as well. So the first thing the event does, again, running in parallel. So when this map loads, this page is going to run to determine this information. And then it'll sit and wait because it's going to go to the next page. So the first thing it does, variable, chest key 1. So I have 4 chests. Chest key 1, random 1 to 4. It's going to do its checks. What was the result? If chest key 1 is equal to 1, then it's going to set the value of chest 1 key to the string unlocked. And then it's also going to turn on a switch. So this is a switch, control switch. Chest 1 key found is on. So this is a switch, control switch, whatever switch it is, turning it to on. We'll see why I'm doing that in a little bit. Then it's going to check the next one. Maybe it's not a 1. If it was a 2, then set that variable chest 1 key to copper key. If it's a 3, set it to iron key. If it's a 4, set it to silver key. Turn on self switch A. When it turns on self switch A, it moves to this page. Self switch A is the condition. It's an action button. You have to click on it. And what does it do? First thing it does is it checks this. If chest key 1 is 1, then this chest is not locked, right? Because that's what it was. It was 1, it's unlocked. So if chest key 1 equals 1, the chest is not, then it's going to tell you, this chest is not locked. It's going to turn on self switch B to move the page forward. And we're going to jump to label end. So we're going to skip all this, jump to label end, and then it's going to move to page 3, self switch B, which is opening the chest, giving you the gold, showing you, turning on self switch C, set to auto run, and then that changes it to the next page, self switch C, which is empty. So, whoops, it jumped down. So So that's what the first thing is going to do. If it's unlocked, it tells you, turns on self switch B to move the page forward, jumps to the end. Otherwise, if it's not a 1, if it's not unlocked, it's going to say this chest is locked and requires a key, show text. Then it does that conditional check, right? That whole conditional branch check. And it says if the party has party key, right? This is where I'm using that hidden party key to determine if the party has any keys whatsoever. If the party has a party key, show them a text. Would you like to try using a key? Show choices, yes or no. When yes, then it's got to do its checks. It's got to check these 3 things because this is all about chest 1, right? Chest 1. If, conditional branch, if chest key 1 is equal to 2 and nested conditional branch, if party has the copper key, because that's what a 2 was. If it's a 2, it's a copper key. So if it's a 2 and if they have the copper key, then show text. You try all your keys. The slash variable 331 key works on the chest, and that's going to be a string of copper key. Take away their copper key, take away a party key, turn on self switch B to advance the page, jump to label end to skip everything and move to page 3. But if this isn't all true, right? Maybe it's a 2, but they don't have the copper key. Or maybe it's not a 2. Then it goes down here and checks this. If chest key 1 is a 3, and if the party has the iron key, then this text stays the same, right? Still variable 331. We're going to change it to iron key. We're going to take an iron key away. This stays the same. This stays the same. This stays the same. So again, you can copy and paste. If both of these things are not true, it's going to go check this one. And again, simple changes. If chest key 1 is equal to 4 now, and if the party has the silver key, so you have to change this value and this value, this stays the same. Change this to silver key. This stays the same. This stays the same. This stays the same. And then if none of this is true, then it's going to show you the text. You try all your keys, but none of them work. Okay? So if none of those are true at this time, you have a key, right? You have a party key, but you don't have the right key to open this particular chest. When you choose no, then it does the same thing as the other chest. You decide to conserve your key and try something else. And this else branch goes back to the if you have a party key. So if you don't have a party key, it's going to do the else. If only you had a key that you could try. And that's the end of this page. And again, we already saw what happened on these pages, right? When self switch B gets turned on, this is auto run so that it can do the chest animation, the sound effects, blah, blah, blah. So that is the chest. That's the whole chest. And here's the nice thing. You can copy and paste this chest event as many times as you want on that particular map or other maps, whatever, right? And all you have to do is change a few things. So I'm going to go over here to the second chest. And it's all the same pages, right? This is running in parallel. The only thing I had to change, I have to change this variable. So from chest key 1 to chest key 2. I have to change these from chest key 1 to chest key 2. Again, chest key 2, right? So chest 2 key instead of chest 1 key, still staying unlocked. And then the switch, chest 2 key found switch instead of chest 1 key found. And then, of course, I have to change here and here, here and here, here and here. So I make those changes, and then it's the same functionality. When I move to page 2, again, I have to change this. If chest key 2 instead of chest key 1, but this is the same, this is the same, this is the same. This is the same. This portion, if party has party key, that's the same. This is the same. This choices is the same. Then I have to change, of course, my values. If chess key 2 instead of chess key 1, but then this stays the same. Well, I should say most of it. It's still going to be the copper key, but this variable is going to change in the text. So instead of 331 like it was before, it's now 332 because it's a different variable. This is staying the same. This is staying the same. Same. So I'm only changing a tiny bit here. Then when I get down to here, again, remember I copied and pasted this event, so this is all here for me. I change this from chess key 1 to chess key 2. Iron key stays the same. This stays the same except for this variable. Same. Keep going down. So again, just change that simple variable value, right, where you need to, and otherwise the majority of this is the same. This stays the same, this stays the same, this stays the same, and we're done. This page stays completely the same unless I want to change the treasure, right, if I want to change the treasure. And then this stays the same. So most of the eventing of this chest is the same. If I go to the next one, you're just going to see chess key 3, chess key 3, chess key, chess 3 key, right? So it not much is changing, right? Not much is changing. I got to get rid of that. I clicked on that by mistake, right? So when I was messing around. So that's that. So we're gonna cancel that. I do not want to discard event change. Yes, I did not mean to change that. So that's the chest, right? The chest. That's not too bad. But now I have 7 key locations. 7 key locations. And the nice thing about this is once you write the event for one key location, it is simply a copy and paste. No changes are needed other than changing maybe the name, right? Key location 1, key location 2, key location 3, but it's all the same event. So let's look at the event. So here again, there is a way to in script say if this is true and this is true and this is true and this is true, then do this. I don't know how to do that well. I don't always do it correctly. So rather than mess around with the script, I just did it the most basic way, which is, again, doing nested conditional branches. Conditional branch, if chest 1 key found is on, that's a switch. And if chest 2 key found is on, switch. And if the third switch is on, and if the fourth switch is on, if all the switches are on, right? If all the switches are on, meaning there's no more keys that I need, then it's going to show there is nothing here. There's nothing in this container. Turn on self switch A, jump to label end. So it jumps all the way to the bottom, and then the self switch A will be active. It'll move to this page. Self switch A is the condition. If you click on that location again, it's going to say there's nothing here. Okay? So that's the first thing the location does. If all of the switches are on, saying that basically you have a key, right, that's needed for that chest, then we're going to tell you there's nothing there. Now, could you change this so that you could give the player something else in that container other than a key? Of course you could. I just didn't do that because I figured that's not what I'm testing right now. So yes, you could modify this to say, hey, you didn't find a key, but maybe you found something else. Okay, so yes, of course you could do that. So that's the first thing it checks. Then what it's going to do is each location has to check each chest that you have. So on this map, I have 4 chests. So it has to check each of those chests to see if I find a key for that chest. If I had 8 chests, it would have to check 8 times. All right. Now, again, those are copy and paste events where you just change values of variables. So the first one, it's going to check chest 1. So conditional branch, if chest 1 key found is on, right? So the switch is on. That means I don't need a key for chest 1. Then it's going to jump to label key 2. So it's going to basically skip over checking, for the chest 1 key, and it's going to go down to check for the second chest, right? And you say, but wait a second, we checked the switch above. Well, yeah, but when we check this, all of the switches had to be on. If all of the switches are on, then it does this. But maybe only this one is on and these ones aren't. It's not going to do this. So I first check, is the switch for chest 1 on? If it is, then I'm just going to skip all the chest 1 stuff and I'm going to go to the label key 2, which is for chest 2. But if this is not on, it's going to then check if conditional branch chest key 1 is equal to 1. Now, if we remember back, a 1 means it's unlocked. I don't need a key. So if that's true, it's going to jump to label key 2. Now, you might be thinking, but wait a second, why do you have to do that? If the switch is on, which we turn on if it's a 1 and unlocked, why would I have to check this? And the reason I'm doing this is because I wanted to use the else branch. So technically, you've already checked this, right? It's a 1, it's unlocked, the switch is also on. But I wanted to use an else branch. So I went ahead and did the check again. If it's a 1 and unlocked, then jump to key 2. Otherwise, else do this. Okay? That's just the way I wanted to build it. So the first thing it does, so if it's not a 1, it's gonna take a control variable. I just named it key roll, and it's gonna randomly pick a number from 1 to 7. Okay? Again, you saw this, how to set this up. Why 1 to 7? Because I decided to have 7 key locations on this map. I decided that if I'm going to do this using this type of eventing, I'm going to manually determine how many locations there are on that map, and I'm going to put that into the event. So if I decided to have 15, then this would be 1 to 15. If I had 5, it's going to be 1 to 5. Okay? And I'm doing this to make sure that we don't run out of locations before we find all the keys. We are guaranteed to find the keys we need. So again, 7 locations predetermined. So it's going to run a number 1 through 7. Then it's going to take another variable, key checks, and it's going to basically add that to the key roll 1 to 7. Initially, key checks is set to 0. So when you first start your game, all your variables are set to 0, all your switches are set to off. So the first time that we run across this, key checks is 0. So this runs 1 to 7, add a 0 to it, and then it checks the result, conditional branch. If the key roll is less than 7, then basically there's no key there. So it's going to take that variable key checks, add 1 to it. So we've checked for key 1 time. Then it's going to jump to label key 2, just like it would have done up here. So it's going to skip the rest, and it's going to go down to key 2 to check the second chest. Now we have another else branch. So this else branch is under this conditional, right? So we have an else within an else, and it works fine. So if it's less than 7, do this. Else, meaning that the value is a 7. If it's a 7, you found a key. So it's going to give you text. You found a variable, right? This is the name of the key for chest 1, variable 331. Then it's going to turn on that control switch. Chest 1 key is found. Because the next time we check a location, we want to be able to say, wait, no, the switch is on. I don't need another chest 1 key. I'm done. So it's going to turn on that switch. Then it's got to do that check like we saw before. Which key do I give you? Right? Because it all depends on what key was randomly set for chest 1. If chest key 1 is equal to 2, then give the player a copper key and also give them a hidden party key so that the event will know that they have a key. If it's a 3, give them the iron key and a party key. If it's a 4, give them a silver key and a party key. So again, you can copy and paste and just change the values, whichever's faster for you. That would be the end of checking the first chest. Because then what's next after that is label key 2. This is where we jump to if certain things happen, or it just flows through. Then this is essentially this entire section here, anything under key 2, is essentially all of this. It's this, just copied and pasted. So you copy and paste that under the label key 2, and then you just change the values. So if chest 2 key found switch is on instead of chest 1, then jump to label, you got to change the label to key 3 because we want to go to check chest 3. And then the next part, if chest key 2 is equal to 1 instead of chest key 1, jump to label, again, change the label key 3. Else, this stays the same. This changes to a new tracking variable, key checks 2, instead of just key checks. This partially stays the same. If key roll, we're reusing key roll. If key roll is less than 7, then we're going to add 1 to that tracking variable, key checks 2 plus 1, jump to label key 3. The else branch stays mostly the same. We're going to change the text to this variable is going to be 332 instead of 331. We're going to turn on a different switch, so chest 2 key instead of chest 1 key. And then these values stay the same. The only thing you change is this variable. Conditional. If chest 2, right, chest key 2 is found instead of chest key 1, if it's a 2, then give them a copper key, give them a party key. That stays the same. If it's a 3, that stays the same. If it's a 4, that stays the same. And then it's the end of the second chest check. So then you have a label, key 3. This is what we're jumping to. This is all copied and pasted from the previous checks. You just change the value. Conditional branch. If chest 3 key found switches on, jump to label key 4. If chest key 3 is set to 1, meaning it's unlocked, jump to label key 4. Else, this was copied and pasted for you. We're reusing the key roll, right? Still random 1 to 7. Control variable. Key roll, that's the same. We change this. Key checks 3, right? The new tracking variable for the third chest. This stays the same. Key roll less than 7, but this changes. Key checks 3. Jump to label key 4. The else branch mostly stays the same. We're going to change the text to the new variable, 333. We're going to turn on a different switch. Chest 3 key found is on. And then we change the conditional branch values. Chest key 3 instead of chest key 1 or 2. These stay the same. Change the variable, these stay the same. Change the variable, these stay the same. End of the third chest. Label key 4. Repeated. We'd make the same changes. Only difference is, if the switch is on, we're going to jump to label end. It's not going to be key 5. It's just going to be the end now. This, again, make the same type of changes that you made before, and then it just ends. There's label end, and you turn control self switch A on. Once A is turned on, it moves to this page. Self switch A is the condition. Action button. If the player clicks on that location again, they get a simple message, there's nothing here, because you already found something, or maybe you didn't, right? Maybe you got the nothing here thing, right? Okay. So, yeah. So, just want to double check something. Yeah, that's all right. Because this is here, this is here. Yeah, because if these are all on, you're not going to find anything. Otherwise, you have the potential of finding something, right? Yeah. Let me just look at something here. I'm missing something. Why am I missing something? I just don't see it right now. Oh, okay. Okay. Yep, that's fine. Um, all right, that's fine. And then here's the nice thing about this. That was key location 1, right? We went through all of key location 1. Now, if I go to key location 2, it is in fact the same event. It is just copied and pasted. Okay? It is just copied and pasted. Nothing is changing. This doesn't change. This doesn't change. None of this changes. This is all the same event. Okay? It's all the same event. Completely. Okay? And I just copy and paste that 6 more times. Okay? I just copy and paste it 6 more times. And that's it. And it works for all the chests. So we went through the chests, and these, if you noticed, there's no image here because the map already had an image. So this is just an invisible event on top of something that was already on the map. So the map already had these. Over here, I placed these on the map, so I had to put an image. But here, the image was already there. So this is just blank. But you also have to make sure that you have to pay attention to priority, because one of the mistakes I made was that when I first built this, these were defaulting to below characters, and that means that when you walk up to, I'm going to turn this back before I forget, but when you walked up to that event, yes, when you walked up to that event and you tried clicking on it, there was nothing to click on because the event is below, right? So the event has to be the same as the characters. Okay. I mean, in theory, you could set it up as a player touch because you bump into it, right? But I wanted them to click on it. Okay. So that was one thing that I made a mistake on, is that it was defaulting to below characters, and so I went to click on it, nothing happened, and I was like, whoa, wait, how did that happen? Okay. Um, and I'm just looking at something again because something is throwing me off, but I see that it works perfectly fine. Um, Oh, I know why. Ah, aha. Yes, I know why it's doing that now. Okay. All right. So I just found something that um, this is what's throwing me off. And I'll just explain it to you here. And I would ultimately fix this, but I'm not going to redo this video. So the message you get, there's nothing here. So if you click on the location, all of these things have to be true. All of these switches have to be true to get this message, there's nothing here. If you look carefully, there's no other place on this page that we tell the player that there's nothing there, right? There's no other place that we tell the player that, which means that if this isn't true, so we don't tell them that, and then let's think about this logically. Um, if they're, let's say they're all, well, no, that wouldn't be true too. Let's say that will we always find a key if that's not true? So let me just think about this. All of these are not on. What would happen then? So we would have, no, that's possible. So we don't tell the player that they didn't find a key, because that's a possibility, right? No switches are on, so we need a key for all the chests. So we have to go through all these. But it's possible that when we go through all of these, you don't find any keys. But you notice that we don't tell the player that we didn't find anything. It will switch to page 2, which is here, which makes the player click on this again to see that there's nothing there. And I didn't really notice this when I was playtesting. I noticed it when I started to make the video, and I just thought it was some weird anomaly. But what happened is that I would click on one of these and nothing would happen. And I would click again, and then it would say, oh, there's nothing here. And the reason it's doing that is because when we first click on the event, all the switches are not on, so it doesn't show me this. It then runs through all these checks, and I don't find a key. So it switches to the next page, but that's waiting for an action button, right? And I have to click on it again to be told that there's nothing there. So in order to fix that, so that the player doesn't have to click on the event twice to get that message in certain circumstances, we would have to change this so that at the end, if it doesn't find, so like for instance, once it went through the last check of the last chest, and then see where it was jumping to label end, what we'd have to do there is right in front of label end, we would probably put a show text that you don't find anything. Because if we do find something, we're going to end up skipping over that, right? And if we don't find anything, we don't find any keys, then it'll show you don't find anything. Then it'll go to the next page, and if you click again, it'll show you the same message. So in reality, there's something missing here at the end, and it should say you don't find anything. Because if you don't add that, so again, just to be very clear, because I didn't catch this before, if you don't add that, then on the map you could click on one of these things and it wouldn't do anything. And then you'd click on it again and it would tell you, oh, you didn't find anything. And you don't want that, because if the player clicks on it, they might think, well, there's nothing there. Now it's true, there is nothing there, but still, that's not a good way to do that. So again, just to be very clear, there is something missing from this location event. Towards the end, there should be a message, you don't find anything, and then it would be repeated when they click on it again. So there is one thing missing there, but everything else is working good. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful to people. I think this is a pretty cool concept. Again, I wanted to test this and experiment with it and make sure I knew how it worked before I added it to my other thing where I randomly determine a bunch of information about a chest or a door. I'm also going to add to that, is there a key? And if so, what is the key that is used to unlock this specific chest or door? Okay, so anyway, I hope that helps. I hope I explained it clearly enough. Sometimes I start to question if I have explained things enough or if I have missed anything. I think I highlighted all the triggers, so that's one thing to pay close attention to. If I don't mention the trigger on a page, you should look there, because this is parallel, this is action, this is auto, and then this is action. So you do have to pay attention to the triggers. You have to pay attention to the conditions, right? Because in an event, the event will run the page, the highest page where the conditions are met, right? So that's how events work. So, if I forget to highlight the condition area or the trigger area or the priority area, you need to look at that additionally to whatever is in the contents area of the events. Because I'm sure I occasionally forget to highlight something. Anyway, again, I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in chat. Not chat, sorry. Feel free to put them in the comments section. If you like this video, please consider leaving a comment, letting me know. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do have any feedback, by all means, leave a comment. Let me know. I try to respond to all comments that I see. If you think this is going to be useful to you, if you think you're going to be able to implement stuff with this, awesome. I'd like to hear it. If you have suggestions to improve things, or other things that you want to share, by all means, feel free. Um, Other than that, that's it for this video. Again, I hope it's clear. I hope it helps people. That's the whole reason I'm making these videos. Hope it's not too long. I will be doing. I'm going to try to get a couple other videos done soon. And anyway, thanks for watching. I'm glad you found my channel. I hope you subscribe so that you can keep up to date with things. I hope these tutorials are helpful to you. And otherwise, until I can get another tutorial up or get another video up showing something, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Good luck on your projects, and happy game developing and happy game making. And I'll see everybody later. Bye.